Kuala Lumpur International Airport, the fastest growing airport in the world, is in construction overdrive. A team of 5,000 workers, architects, designers and consultants are racing around the clock to build what will be the world's largest terminal dedicated to low-cost carriers. In doing that, the team will break many international records and create a unique gateway to Malaysia with unmatched standards. But KLIA2, as the new airport terminal is called, will stretch the creativity, endurance and engineering skills of thousands of people even as the story of how it came to be becomes the stuff of legend. In what will eventually become the crisis management room of KLIA2, an intense meeting is underway. At the table are all the managers and stakeholders of the new airport that is going to receive its first flight in 7 hours. The stakes are high, and Tan Sri Bashir Ahmad, the then Managing Director of Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad, during the development of KLIA2 articulates them.
And in terms of opening for the airport, there are two parts. First part is what we call ORAT. That is a preparation for the open day. In case, and I use the word in case, there's something that does not go right. It could be the weather. Maybe on opening day we may have a huge thunderstorm. Are we prepared for it? There could be a huge jam coming to the airport for some reason. Are we prepared for it? The opening day has been difficult for the simple reason that you cannot actually simulate an opening day in ORAT. For the first day of opening, we must have a plan in case anything happens.
Senior General Manager of Operations, Azmi Murad, explains what's going to happen.
With all this detailed preparation that we have, come 2nd May, we will be able to have a seamless transfer of operations from LCCT to KLIA2.
One by one, Tan Sri Bashir goes over the checklist. The process is painstaking. There is no room for error. At a little past midnight, a few hours from now, a Malindo Air Boeing 737 will land on runway 3 and will be led ceremoniously by an airside operations vehicle to its designated gate, where the plane, passengers and crew will be felicitated by a rousing welcoming committee. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Bashir has finished his meeting and, accompanied by senior management, he sets off on an inspection tour of KLIA2 to make sure all facilities are ready for the opening. Many thoughts flash through his mind as he does this. Bashir explains why KLIA2 was necessary in the first place.
Sometime way back in 2001-2002, we foresaw a growing demand for low-fare travel. And sometime in 2003, we started seriously looking at it. So we decided that we should try to explore a dedicated terminal for low-cost airlines. And we came up with LCCT, which was completed in 2006. But it was meant to be temporary at that stage, because we just want to evaluate whether there was really a demand for low-fare travel, and to make sure that the terminal that we had will meet those requirements immediately. It was built within 9 months, and Asia moved in there, and the rest is history. Of course, immediately after that, started looking for a permanent location to build a permanent terminal for low-cost carriers. We revised our master plan, and based on the master plan, it was decided that we built another terminal, which we have named KLIA2, to cater for the future growth of low-fare travel. And therefore, that's how KLIA2 was conceptualized.
It's difficult to imagine that less than 4 years earlier, the area where KLIA2 now stands, all 1.48 million square meters, was pretty much plantation land. Initially, however, a different location referred to as north of KLIA was proposed for the site selection. After further review of the National Airport Master Plan, the recommendation was to move the site for various reasons.
When we did the master plan review, one of the most important aspects is the runway location. That's very crucial. You don't build runway every other year, and therefore the location of the runway is very important for long-term capacity as well as operational efficiency. When we have decided on the location of the runway, we now have to find the best location for the terminal. Terminal location is very important as it has to be the most optimal location. So we chose the location as where it is now based on many aspects that has been considered, especially operational efficiency.
Recommended location will provide the best operational use of the overall facilities of the airport, including for the airlines operating at KLIA Main. This was important in the selection of the site. The first of which was that it could be integrated with the current ERL high-speed train line by extending its path. The old site would have required a new mode of transport to be built between both terminals. The most important aspect of the new location was that it allowed KLIA-2 to be built with a bigger specification to accommodate for more passengers. KLIA-2 was built with the expansion requirements of support services by the airport users, especially the airlines.
Currently in KLIA-1, the support service area is already congested. There's no more room for expansion. So that's why we feel that whatever positive comment made by the user is for the good of the project. That's why we accommodated.
UEM Constructions is responsible to build for the main terminal building. And for Binapuri Sram Bahats, we are responsible for the construction of Sky Bridge as well as the satellite building.
It's one thing to plan. It's quite another to find as you start executing your plan that things aren't going as you have planned them. As engineers began levelling the land, they faced many challenges with the soft soil condition. However, there were various engineering methods that could be applied to overcome these problems. The area that was chosen had soil which was porous, and due to that, it held a lot of water in the soil, making the soil uneven and soft. To get the soil into a stable condition for any construction to happen was a difficult but crucial task. Many strategies were formed with ways to squeeze the water from the soil itself. Dr. Syed Nagib explains the process in detail.
After we put in the ground, the topsoil on it, we will just more or less inject in a special kind of materials called a vertical drain.
But enclosed in this way, the earth will fill up to this point and it will become like hundreds of straws, and it goes straight into the ground like this. The water will flow and go out. It will be injected into the ground via this machine. They'll put it there and they'll just pump it all the way down to the depth that they require. And at the end of the line, they will tank off this thing to the vertical tape so it will hold, preventing the vertical drain from going into the ground.
So this vertical drain will more or less extract the groundwater out, and when the groundwater goes out from the soil compacts faster.
When the first time that we actually did some tests where we compressed, even though after 4 months later when we come, the soil refused to consolidate to about 90%, which is the requirement for an engineering platform to be done. So it will be more or less an ongoing process.
The land was literally throwing up one problem after another. But the engineers couldn't give up because this site had been identified as the most suitable location under the National Airport Master Plan of 2008 to be the location for the terminal. For one, the site would provide the best integrated landside development as well as airside and landside transfer because it was possible to extend the existing ERL train line to KLIA-2 for passenger transfer use. The road connection provided easy access to the location and allowed KLIA-2 to connect with the existing infrastructure. The airside transfer possibilities and the relatively short taxi distances to the third runway are optimal. The location was also large enough to provide a longer runway system as well as being more flexible with aircraft stand use. This meant that KLIA-2 was built to accommodate for further passenger growth with the option of expanding to a fourth runway in the future. It took 45 months to build KLIA-2, a record for an airport of this size. It's also the largest purpose-built terminal for low-cost carriers in the world. The team behind it, however, emphasizes that while it may be used for low-cost carriers, KLIA-2 takes into consideration the requirements for optimal passenger comfort, operations efficiency, as well as safety and security.
In doing KLIA-2, initially we had the idea that we will just build the same as we have done for LCCT, but to cater for a higher number of passengers. But when we started thinking about it, we felt that maybe we should take into account the requirements of all our stakeholders, not only the airlines, but also the government, the industry, and ourselves. So it was decided that why don't we redo the whole concept and find out what we come up with after consulting all the stakeholders. So what we got and what we're getting now is actually a bigger and better KLIA-2 than what we originally wanted to build. Because we are trying to determine a terminal for low-cost airlines, for low-fare travellers, not only now, but what we think their future requirements would be and what we believe the future changing models would be of business low-cost airlines.
Malaysia Airports was faced with many challenges during the construction of the terminal. Many of the challenges were overcome with strategic planning and hard work. In fact, during the development of KLIA-2, the scope kept changing. Plans had to be redrawn, new plans required additional scope, and with it, additional cost that led to some controversy.
Basically, the cost went up because of different requirements. First and foremost, the capacity of the terminal has changed at least by another 50%. There has been some regulatory changes in Malaysia. So in Malaysia now there's a requirement to completely segregate incoming and outgoing passengers. So when this happens, you need a much larger terminal and not just larger, but you need a different level terminal. So from 2 levels to become 3 levels. So that's the second main reason that has come from a regulatory change, which is a government requirement. A third and fourth one is with regards, to a large extent, is with regards to the airline requirements. The separation between 2 runways. There's a runway 2 and runway 3. When it was 2 billion ringgit, it was supposed to be just about 1.5 kilometers, and that's the minimum requirement. But along the way, the airline requirements change, and whereby they wanted it from 1.5 to actually 2.5. At the end, we agreed at about 2.2 kilometers. So that's a major requirement, and that's the third one. The fourth one is actually with regards to the runway length. So not just runway separation, but runway length. The runway length was changed from 2.8 kilometers to 4 kilometers. Now we need a higher or another control tower. And along with that control tower, and the building changes and so on, the equipment for the control tower is also required, and therefore even the road system, a new road system that has to meet the requirements for a higher building, also caused the increase in the cost from 2 billion to 4 billion. So I don't think that would be seen as a cost overrun. It's purely a situation whereby the cost went up because the scope has changed.
Scope change was inevitable. One of the biggest challenges was the 4-kilometer-long third runway. Hundreds of people worked tirelessly, day and night, for several months to get it ready, despite challenges along the way.
Runway 3 was constructed on a soft ground, So we need to do a lot of ground improvement.
After 2 years of hiring an external consultant, Malaysia Airports decided to take full control of the management of the project to provide better coordination.
The problem that we face mostly on the drainage because we have to excavate deeper. So when we excavate deeper, we can see the water coming out. So that's the problem. But then all the things resolved by the engineers. We're supposed to complete by end of October 2013. We completed a runway actually earlier than that.
The runway was in fact completed ahead of time in October 2013. This makes KLIA the first airport in Southeast Asia to have a third runway. Malaysia Airports was able to run its first commercial test landing in October 2013. It was a historic day for Malaysia Airports as the runway was getting ready for its first commercial test landing. The plan was for the Malindo Boeing to depart from the KLIA VVIP departure area, get it to take off, circle the airport and land on the newly built runway 3. Things began to unfold in an almost magical way. Senior Malaysia Airports officials, government ministers and stakeholders gather with a sense of heightened expectancy. The media is on hand to capture the event.
KLIA 2 is going to be the main terminal based in Kuala Lumpur. Will cover the whole of Asian routes for the LCCT operation. It feels great, it feels wonderful. We are honoured to be chosen as the first crew to be chosen to land at runway 3 for KLIA 2.
The Transport Minister articulates the pride the team feels at having achieved a significant milestone.
Celebrate the success of those who have promised us to do a certain part of this project and they have delivered. This should be an example for the others involved in this bigger project.
Meanwhile, the Malindo Boeing is ready to take off.
Runway is 4 km long. It's more than enough for 380, which is a good thing. We can save fuel, our tires will be less worn out because my pilot told me that they use minimal reverse thrust, which means that we don't really have to use so much of power to stop the aircraft, which is a good news for airlines. I would like to thank Malaysia Airport, the KUB builders and also the government of Malaysia to give Malindo Air a chance to be the first airline to land in KLIA 2 runway 3. Malaysia Airport has really looked into future.
After the trial flight, finishing works on the terminal were focused towards the target opening date of May 2nd, 2014. As the date approaches, the months of blood, sweat and toil would finally bear fruit. 7 months later, the departure terminal of KLIA 2 is buzzing. Check-in for the first flight to fly out of the new terminal is underway.
I think May 2nd should be a happy occasion for everybody. It's not every day that we build terminals. This terminal is historic. It was going to be a boom for low-cost airlines. It's mainly designed for them to meet their requirements, not only now but for the future. And I think the public will be the judge of it.
I'm so excited because it's our first time to be here in KLIA 2. I think everybody should be proud of this terminal.
This is my first time come here. The new airport is very great.
Malaysia Airports pulls all stops to make this evening a success. The first landing at the airport will take place a little after midnight. After that, Cebu Pacific aircraft will be the first to depart the terminal. It's an evening to celebrate many firsts, and Malaysia Airports is ensuring it will never be forgotten.
To all travellers that have used LCCT, on behalf of Malaysia Airport, I would like to say thank you very much for the support. And I look forward to their continued support at these much better and much improved facilities. And all these facilities is developed just for the airlines and just for the airport users and just for the travelling public. Please use KLIA 2. the next time you want to travel.
Air traffic control at KLIA 2 will be handled from a brand new control tower. It's also the tallest control tower in the world.
Malaysia Airport has entrusted us to construct the tower within 11 months, and then we have started the work in June 2012.
We use a proprietary system of metal formwork that jumps every 5 meters. So you cast 5 meters, take out the formwork, put it up 5 meters, so you're jumping 5, 10, 15. And because of that system, the contractor was able to construct the tower base very quickly. Once it reaches 29th floor, as you've seen earlier, they build a metal formwork that flies out so that we can do all this conventional construction. This is level 30, and eventually this floor will house what we call a tower equipment room. So there'll be a lot of electronic equipment that will support the VCR above.
We have challenges when we have completed the foundation. Suddenly the authority asks us to shift the location. Not only shift the location, we got to increase the height, okay, from 90 meters to 134 meters. All this shift, which was a very tight deadline given to us.
Challenges for the controllers would be to manage operations for the 3 runways with the 2 controllers, and the coordination processes that would be involved would pose a good challenge for the controllers. But nevertheless, DCA has taken the steps necessary to ensure that all operations would run smoothly come opening day.
This is a much better position for the tower because from here you're very close to the center. You can see aircraft movement across, and I'm sure the Department of Civil Aviation people will be also very happy with it, as compared to a tower that is skewed from the center. So you're always looking to one side. Here you look straight out, you see both runways, runway 3, runway 2 and runway 1 in the distance, and the terminal is right in front. So all the activity in front is easily visible.
Tower now is at 141.9 meters from the sea level, and from the ground level is about 133.4 meters.
We finally did it within 10 months, the planning and the construction until it's been completed within 10 months. Although a lot of people do not believe that it can happen, and it happens.
The control tower and the runway were ready ahead of time. But there were areas of construction that had to be torn down and rebuilt as the scope of work changed. The baggage handling system was one example. Due to the new requirement for a fully automated baggage handling system to meet the higher forecasted increase in passenger growth, the infrastructure had to be completely rebuilt.
During the process, we need to upgrade to automatic sortation, so that increase the construction period. So basically, we have to demolish certain area of the building to accommodate the main sorter.
All the baggage system is managed from this room. There is an application for monitoring the system, so we can see at any time if there is error in the system, or if we have a bag that's been blocked somewhere, so we can immediately go and fix the problem.
The system comprises of several areas, so we have a check-in system, an arrival system, and also security system with fallbacks.
These big monitors show the entire system. It's a 3D application. We can move everywhere in the system, on the baggage system. Each color has a signification. For example, this green color means the conveyor is running. A blue color will mean the conveyor is cascading. And for example, the blue one with the green in the middle is for override system. So we can from here control the entire system. We can start and stop every single conveyor in the system.
This is the barcode reader. Once the bags come down from the check-in counters, it will run through the barcode reader and each bag has a barcode. The barcode reader will read the bag tag and then segregate the bags to their set destinations. This is the X-ray machine. Once a bag passes through the barcode reader, it will come through the X-ray, which will pick up any anomalies in a bag.
The red color shows that there is an emergency stop or a fault. We have all the alarms here. For example, this is a fire alarm. What is unique for the baggage system is also that it's a very simple system.
This is the L4 area. Once a bag's been determined it's got something suspicious in it, it will come to here, it'll be manually checked, and then if it's still suspicious, it'll be put in this machine and the bomb handlers will take it away and dispose of it as necessary.
We have to deliver the bag. The bag cannot stay in the system, so we have to deliver, and we have to deliver fast. The bags only takes 5 minutes from the checking to arrive in this room, in this area here, where it's ready to go to the aircraft. 5 minutes is less than the time the passenger will take to go to the gate to board his flight. It is a simple system for a huge capacity of bags, and that's the unicity here. That's very important.
The baggage handling system is ready to roll and will have to handle the luggage of hundreds of flights every day.
We have like 11 kilometers of conveyors processing for 45 million passengers per annum capacity with a throughput of 15,600 bags per hour. So I believe with that trial period, with that processing, the system is ready for 2nd May operation. Yes.
A team comprising of officers from various departments, dubbed the Operation Readiness and Airport Transfer Team, or ORAT, were formed in order to help out with the preparation process.
Right now we have a team of about 29 senior officers who are experienced in various fields of the activities, and these are the ORAT team which are actually leading the whole show.
Okay.
Here, the officials are preparing dummy passports and tickets to create an authentic experiment in the departure terminal. Dummy boarding passes, managed and prepared by the ORAT team, will be distributed to the passengers at the trial run. A wide range of people volunteered for the trial, from children to the elderly. This was important for Malaysia airports to receive feedback from a wide range of sources to give a holistic view of the airport from different perspectives. The purpose of the trials is to simulate normal passenger use of the facilities. It is only then that faults or glitches can be seen and immediately rectified. One very big rehearsal will simulate passenger traffic during peak hours. About 2,000 to 3,000 passengers will be walking and using the terminal. This will test if the airport can operate smoothly and seamlessly. And part of this involved dummy bags and pretend passengers. Thousands of them. The trial gets underway under the gaze of the ever-present media and the Transport Minister. During the registration process, the 4,500 volunteer passengers were given their dummy boarding passes, passports, and some coupons for the shops within the terminal. Mimicking standard airport routine, passengers have to go through the check-in counters first before entering the terminal. At the end of the trial, they have to sign themselves out to ensure nobody is left inside the terminal. The security department, needless to say, is on high alert and on their toes 24/7. Its role in sterilizing the whole airport is of paramount importance.
We have done the simulation and we are very confident that the number of security equipment, the number of personnel available at KLIA 2 is sufficient to manage aviation security at any time. For example, this is the domestic centralized checkpoint. For every machine, we have at least 4 staff to man one machine. So you just look at the number of machines. This is only for domestic centralized. So we have to ensure that we facilitate the movement of the passengers, our valued clients, but we have to ensure that we don't compromise on the security. So we do the screening here thoroughly to ensure that all passengers are safe and the aircraft that depart from KLIA 2 is safely reach the destination.
In another corner of the airport, close to runway 3, a fire drill is underway. It is said firemen train day and night for a fire they hope they will never have to fight, and nor is it any different here. In the watchtower, a distress signal is received. And the alarm is sounded. The Airport Fire and Rescue Services team readies their emergency routine.
In the event of any emergency, the message could come from our communication center, that is our surveillance tower. The person that is manning the tower would take all the information and disseminate. The moment message was disseminated to the officer in charge, the officer in charge would instruct specific vehicles to do the response. It would be all according to our standard operating procedure. For KLIA 2, we have procured 3 numbers of major vehicles. These major vehicles is the latest vehicles in the market. We have had these vehicles delivered even 1 year before the operation of KLIA 2. We have been training our personnel, we have been testing the vehicles, and we are complying to all the international standards set for airport fire and rescue service.
Weeks later, Junita Aziz, who heads airside operations, is taking a quick meeting.
I'm the airside operations manager for KLIA 2. My day-to-day work is to ensure that the facilities and infrastructure of the KLIA in the airside area are serviceable 24 hours to ensure the safety of the aircraft. I've been in shift duty for nearly 10 years, so to me it's normal. Day, night, anytime is normal to me. I have to be alert every time. My phone is 24 hours on, and the response time, I need to come to the office to ensure everything is perfect, and we are capable to take care of the any issues in the airside.
Junita Aziz and her colleagues head to the runway area and the taxiways to make sure they are all in order.
We were quite busy for the few days before the opening of KLIA 2. So we have to do a lot of inspections in the airside. We work together with our ground handlers, with the airlines, because they are our stakeholders. So we have to ensure the safety of the airside in terms of the infrastructure, the facilities, and because we need to work together, because we are one Malaysia, so we have to work together and ensure the safety of the airport and to get the confidence from the public to use our facilities. Two days prior the opening of the KLIA 2, most of us, the operations people, have very tight schedule where we need to alert and we need to update our management on the status of the each department the process and procedures to meet the target date on the 2nd May. So for us, it was quite hectic, but we enjoy because we are working in a safety and expertise environment. It's a new airport and we have a new challenges.
Ahead of the midnight landing, a convoy makes its way to KLIA-2 from the soon-to-be-replaced low-cost carrier terminal. These are the service and maintenance equipment that are used for the airlines at the terminal. Some are used to tow the aircraft and some are cleaning and transport vehicles. From dawn to dusk, work at the airside continues. Tarmac cleaning process is underway. It must be carried out at regular intervals to ensure that planes have the smoothest surface to traverse as they make their way to the terminal and from the terminal to the runway. The sun begins to set on this May evening. Years of work have gone into preparation for this night. In a few hours, the first plane will dock at its gate and KLIA-2 will come to life.